I'm Laura, and apologies for sounding a bit chesty. I lost my voice at the weekend. But anyway, today I'm going to try and get on with it and go through as quickly as I can with this video because I think it's going to be a long one, but it's possibly the most important video I've ever filmed. And also the most highly requested video I've ever filmed too. So, next Thursday on June the 8th, we are all going to be voting, hopefully, as long as you're over 18, I hope we're all going to vote, to decide the UK's future, basically. Are we going to have a Tory, are we going to have a Labour government? I don't think Lib Dems are going to research. I might be wrong, but I really think it's going to be between Labour and the Tories. And I want this video to be as impartial as I can be. I obviously hold my political views, which you can go and watch previous videos if you want to know what they are, if you don't know already. I'm probably going to do a video next week about why you should vote for the party that I believe that you should, and especially for young people. But this video is meant to be informative, not biased, and apologies if I might slip in a few little left-wing things, but it's difficult for me because I really don't know why you should vote for the Tories. Anyway, I'm going to be looking at 5 key areas today, and these are important areas to me, hopefully to you, and you can go research anything that you don't want to look at. So the 5 areas are uni fees, Brexit, the NHS, defence and tax. So those are the 5 topics, and the 4 parties that I'm going to be looking at are the Tories, also known as the Conservatives, or the Conservatives also known as the Tories, Labour, the Greens and the Lib Dems, as I believe that those are the people that stand a real chance at winning seats in this election. I don't have much interest in UKIP, feel free to go and look at them if you want. Likewise, any further right BNP parties, I have no interest in talking about them on my channel. So yeah, go and research anything that I haven't mentioned, but make sure if you're, especially online, that you're going to take everything with a pinch of salt. If you're going to be reading a Labour article from the Telegraph, it might be a little bit biased. And please comment anything down below, but keep it so constructive. I don't want any rudeness, any sexism, because that's something that I've faced on a lot of other videos as well, which is quite disgusting to have men comment nasty comments. I don't want anything nasty, keep it constructive. This is a conversation, this isn't an argument, this isn't going to get personal, because okay, they're your personal beliefs, but everyone is entitled to those opinions. You may be a Tory and you may disagree with what I'm saying, but as in you may disagree with my political opinion, but I'm not going to hate you just because you're a Tory. And likewise, these are national campaigns. I'm going to be talking about manifestos. I don't know anything about your local MP. Go and research your MP. I know my MP is against gay marriage, so maybe that's a good reason not to vote for him. I think it's perfectly good reason in my opinion, but a lot of people still vote for him. So please take everything on, maybe make notes, whatever you feel applicable. I've got everything here on a bit of paper. So, I'm going to start with uni fees, as I think that's such an important issue right now, especially as I know my audience is a young audience. So, the Tories. The Tories want the tuition fees to rise every year in line with inflation up until 2020, so at the moment it's going up by 250 quid a year. So it used to be 9 grand, well it used to be 3 grand, it's now gone up to 9 grand, so this year it's 9,250, next year 9,500, etc, etc. Labour want to abolish tuition fees completely scrap them so it's free to go to uni. I completely forgot to say about tuition fees. Labour promised to abolish tuition fees in time for this year. So if you're going to uni in September, or planning on going to uni in September, you won't be paying uni fees from then. You don't know about anyone else. Well, I mean, there's not much, yeah. So Labour promised to do it for the year 2017 to 2018. The Lib Dems want to restore maintenance grants, which is something that the Tories scrapped, which was for low-income families. They got a grant, they got given a pot of money to go to uni. It was a couple of grand, or it was based on your income. It was for low-income families. The Tories scrapped it, but they won't scrap uni fees altogether, so you still have to pay for uni, but if you're from a lower income family, you will receive the grant again, because at the moment it's just a loan that you have to pay back. The grant you don't have to pay back. And the Greens want to scrap fees altogether and also restore maintenance grants. So there you go, just have money to go to uni and you don't have to pay anything either. So yeah, those are the 4 opinions on that one. So the next topic of Brexit. The Tories want, I would say, a hard Brexit. I mean, but who knows what Brexit even means, to be honest. But Theresa May has come out and said that no deal is better than a bad deal with Brexit and with the EU. So she'd rather have no deal than a really bad deal. Theresa May was part of the Remain campaign and obviously now having to leave the EU, leading that. So yeah, Labour want a softer version than the Tories, and they agree that we had a referendum, we voted for Brexit, we're sticking with Brexit, you can't get out of it, it was a democratic choice. But also Jeremy Corbyn, it's a bit awkward because from what I've concluded, Jezza is such a left-wing man, such a socialist, that he didn't want it, he wanted Brexit in the first place basically, but he had to stick with Remain for the Labour Party line. So you either got Theresa, who's a Remainer, going with the Leave Party, or Jezza, who is a Leave voter who wanted to leave but has to stick with the Remain party. But I mean, like, he always says that he's a dictator. He's a dictator. Jezza always says that he's not a dictator. He goes with what the party wants and what the party believes and what the people that support the party want. So he's not, if his party are going to say the party line is to Remain, he's going to go with that. Okay, Lib Dems, on the other hand, they are a party of Remain. They are rooting for that 48% that voted Remain, and they want a vote on the Brexit deal. They want us to vote for a Brexit deal, and if we don't vote for the deal, then we're not going to have Brexit. So they're basically saying Brexit is reversible. The Greens accept that there was a referendum and it was a democratic choice to leave the EU. What does my handwriting say? Oh, I wrote, it's a shame because the Greens do really well on EU votes, just because of the voting system. They tend to do well out of the EU and get more seats than they do in general elections. And they reject the Tory, this is a quote, they reject the Tory extreme Brexit. So that's their opinion on Brexit. I think most people are agreeing that we have to have Brexit apart from the Lib Dems. The Tories want an £8 billion rise in real terms by 2022. So I'm guessing that means this is, so I've tried to take this from manifestos, so this means that by 2022 they're going to have paid £8 billion more. So that's what, 5 years, £8 billion. And then Labour want £6 billion a year put into the NHS, and they're going to reverse NHS privatisation, which has been, like, what's the word, fast forwarded by the Tories. And they want free parking at all NHS hospitals. Okay, the Lib Dems want £6 billion a year, just like Labour, and they're going to get this from the 1p income, yeah that's right, the 1 pence income tax rise. And they also want to ban TV adverts on junk food before the 9 PM watershed, which I pretty good idea. Obesity is on the increase, isn't it? From the Greens, all that I could really get was that they oppose NHS privatisation. I couldn't find figures of how much they want to put into it each year. Sorry about that, but I'm sure it's a pretty easy, I don't know whether they've released it or not, because a lot of them are holding back their information, but all I've got written down is that they oppose NHS privatisation. On to the one that I think is going to cause the most issues. Tax. Okay, the Tories want the 40 pence rate of income tax for up to 50 grand, is that right? Yeah, 40% tax up to 50 grand. And okay, the Tories are a party that support the idea that you tax the rich a little bit less, then they will, so this is taxing big businesses less, they will then put the money that they saved back into more jobs and create more growth, which will overall benefit society. This is also known as trickle-down economics, and trickle-down economics is known by a lot of economists as flawed. So that's their tax idea, that eventually it will trickle down. Imagine it, you know that game where you put a ball in at the top and it would like fall down the thing, and it might end up in one of your pots at the bottom. So imagine you put a ball in at the top and it's going to fall down. I should do it like this, shouldn't I? And it might eventually land up in your pot, but the likelihood of it ending up in your pot, imagine if there's like a million pots, what's the likelihood it's going to end up in your pot? So that's the idea that they're going with. You know my opinion on the Tories' tax rate, and I'm not trying to put my opinion into this, but this is just the idea that they have, and trickle-down economics is something that they go for, and trickle-down economics has been known to be flawed, as it lets the rich keep getting richer and the poor poorer, and greater inequalities between the rich and the poor. Okay, Labour. Labour want a 45 pence tax rate for up to £80,000. And a 50p tax rate for 123, and a 50p tax rate for up to £123,000. and this will raise £6.4 billion. And this is going to affect the top 5% in society, these tax increases. So the 95% of the population will go unaffected from these tax increases. And a lot of people say that having high rates of tax is bad for big businesses, as they'll go elsewhere to do their businesses because they can pay less tax for it. And yeah, so that's the opinion of many, that it drives business out of the UK. That's why Thatcher cut corporation and income tax by quite a lot in the 80s, and then it made London the big banking sector that it is, whether you agree with banking or not. So yeah, there's a lot of stigma attached to Labour's high tax rate. Should I quickly address the tax rate? So you pay the 150 grand tax band. You don't instantly get to 150 grand, you're like, crap, I'm going to have to pay 50% of this. Damn it, my income's gone down to a measly 75 grand a year. No way. No, you pay 100, okay, say you earn £151,000. That 1 grand over 150 is paid at the top rate, and then you pay your tax in basis of all the bands going up to that. So you pay none up to, I want to say 11 grand, and then 20% up to 20. Then you pay 20% up to a certain amount, I want to say around 40 something K. And yeah, so it's not instantly you get there and you're like, crap, so all these people are going to be like halving their incomes as soon as they hit 150k. That's not true. That's just the tax bands. Okay, anyway, that was Labour and the Tories. I found it really hard to find the Lib Dems tax rates, but all I could find is a 1p income tax rise to raise £6 billion, which is a bit strange because Labour are trying to raise £6 billion too, but in a different way. So they want to increase on all taxes by 1%, I think. So that's income tax, corporation tax, stuff like that. Okay, and the Greens. The Greens want a 60% tax rate over 150k, so you know, like imagine that 1 grand that I was just talking about over 150k would be taxed at a higher amount. And this is to raise £2 billion a year, and this is what they've claimed is that it's going to affect 1% of earners. So the top 1% in society are going to be affected by this tax increase. Okay, so that's all about tax. I hope I tried to explain that pretty unbiasedly, but I mean the thing with like trickle down economics is that you can analyse it and without having a political view. Okay, and last but not least, let's chat about Trident and defence. So what happened there, mate? Well, what has actually happened? I don't even know. I need a new tripod. Come on, tripod, pull through. We're literally on the last one. Somebody doesn't like Trident. So you may have seen that my camera just fell off its tripod, so sorry if I am looking very different. I think I'm a lot more zoomed in. Okay, anyway, let's chat about Trident. Tories want to spend £3 billion on Trident, to renew Trident. Trident is I'm going to read the definition of Trident because I don't want to, yeah, let's not influence this in any way. Let's get the dictionary definition of Trident. Trident is a 3-pronged spear, especially an attribute to Poseidon. Is a US design of submarine launched long-range ballistic missile. So it's basically a nuclear, bloody hell, the sun's come out, I'm sweating with my window shut. Okay. Yeah, nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine in service with the Royal Navy. Each submarine is armed with Trident missiles. So Trident missile, okay. So it's basically a submarine that goes round the world, I think, and it can be activated. So Tories want to spend £3 billion a year on Trident. Labour want a comprehensive review on defence and have agreed to renew Trident. Like I said before about Corbyn saying he's not a dictator, he is all for, he was he the chair of CND, Campaign for Nuclear, yeah, he was the parliamentary chair for Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, CND, so he completely disagrees with all nuclear weapons, but he's standing with the Labour Party because the Labour Party believes that we need Trident, so he's standing with that and is agreeing to renew it. Lib Dems are happy to renew Trident 2 and want to end continuous at-sea deterrence. Take from that what you will. The Greens The Greens want complete nuclear disarmament. I shouldn't laugh, I don't know why I'm laughing. The Greens want complete nuclear disarmament, and Caroline Lucas, who is one of the leaders, she's a parliamentary chair for the CND, just like Corbyn was. So CND, Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, so complete nuclear disarmament, that's what you get with the Greens. So it depends what your opinions are. I really hope this video helped. I tried to round it up as best I could. I tried to explain things where I could. I tried to be unbiased where I could, but it was difficult for me. And yeah, I really hope this video helped. If it did, please remember to give it a big thumbs up, and please vote on June the 8th. Subscribe for next week's video to get a notification for next week's video, because I think it's going to be a good one and I really want everyone to watch next week's video. I'm going to be planning it a lot. I don't usually plan a lot of my, I don't plan loads for my videos. This is the most planned video I've done. But next week's, keep an eye out for it. Remember to vote on June the 8th. This is our future, guys. We've got to decide the UK's future, especially young people. Come on. Young people have just overtaken the Tories in the polls. More young people are planning on voting Labour. We need more young people to vote. There's quite a big gap in the polls right now between Labour and the Tories. I think there's about a 5-point gap, which is halved since the campaign began. I really hope that you choose your opinion based on manifestos, on your MP and everything, and not just your parents or a review that you've inherited from your friends or something like that. Listen to what I've said. So just think about your morals, what are your personal beliefs, if you care about those lesser off in society, if you care more about businesses and bankers and things like that, if you care more about the environment, then vote with that. Let's all vote on June the 8th. Let's get a really, really high turnout. I really hope it's a high turnout. This is going to be exciting. It is exciting. We could have been stuck with the Tories for the next 3 years, but we've been given a chance to boot them out. Let's boot out the Tories. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Everything you always do. I will stop talking because this is a really long video. I hope you're having an amazing day and enjoying the sunshine. Good luck with all your exams if you're sitting them, if you sat them. I'm talking really quickly now to try and get this video over and done with. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.